Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, the weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream hosted by Dolphin. Trying to make it sound a little different than usual. Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, the weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream. Do it so many times, gotta try to make it sound a little more exciting. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity working against those goals are not tolerated and will be dealt with. Son of the Multiverse, Bottom of the Ninth, One Deck Dungeon, Aeon's End, and Spirit Island are available on Steam in the first 4 games on iOS, Android, Cardboard, Ink, and Dice. I guess also Spirit Island is on Cardboard and Dice. You can get more information on those games at Handelabra.com. Hello. Thank you for waiting an extra hour for the stream to commence. Today is my mother's birthday, and we wanted to have a bit of a dinner together, and I figured that things would be running a little late from that, and it did, so it was good to have that extra hour of buffer. But it went well. She is now an age. But she's doing well. She's quite happy. She had a pretty good day. We're sitting here playing Spirit Island again. I know I played it last week. I'm pretty sure I played it last week. I don't know. I just want to play Spirit Island. I just want to play Spirit Island. It's my stream. I'm going to do it. Your sleep schedule hates you? Well, too bad. I'm doing this stream whenever I want it. I have no idea of what I want to do, but I want to do something. Mix a scenario with an adversary. We don't do that too often. A lot of what we've been focusing on Spirit Island Saturdays has been pushing up the difficulties of these. Which, yeah, now we can actually just check this directly in here, which makes it a bit easier. You can also see the difficulty right on the card. Although, like, for something like Dahan Insurrection, is it actually going to update this? No, it's not. But it's still 7 plus, you know, whatever this is, 4. Hello, John, and welcome! So what am I gonna do? We've done all the adversaries on 4. And from what I've been told, going to 5 is the big step. Either we have towns and cities having extra health, so they're much harder to kill, or when Ravaging adds a Blight, also add a town to an adjacent land, except for Cascading Blight. Or we remove an additional stage 1 card. Now technically we already beat stage 6 in the Dahan Insurrection setting. But it's, yeah, losing, just going from 4 to 5, you're losing an extra stage 1 card by itself. That's tough. But I want to mix with a scenario, I think, and for that I'm not sure if we're going to play on a too high difficulty today. Dahan Insurrection is notably harder when playing versus adversaries that build lots of town cities. Well, we played Dahan Insurrection last time. Blitz was done last Spirit Island Saturday. And I feel like there was also a Rituals somewhat recently, so let's try Guard the Owl's Heart. I think we haven't played this since the 4-player game. This does give everyone extra power cards to start with, which is going to be quite fun. So what is this hard against? Spirits with no build prevention or fast way to destroy explorers, or adversaries who act quickly. Kingdom of Brandenburg Prussia is named because... I mean, we could just lose directly to the escalation if there is no other valid land with town cities. What am I feeling as far as this is concerned? So what's the typical 2-player configuration? It's not really connected inner land if it's land 7 in both boards. That mountain and this sands are the inner land. So I'm not sure. I don't want ocean. There's been a lot of ocean lately. Hey, Rains, and welcome to Not My Stream. Let's see, what did I do last week? I did lightning and ocean? I think we did. I think on Spirit on Saturdays we did river. I played river at least. Do they recommend a different board configuration? I mean, it doesn't specify the particular orientation. I guess I could like orient it like this, and it'd be a bit like they'd be connected. We're only gonna play with 2 spirits today because 4 spirits makes my brain hurt, and 3 spirits is 3/4 of the hurt. But I don't really like solo spirits because I just like having spirits that can work with each other. I don't know. I feel between One Deck Dungeon and Aeon's End, I'm very used to a 2-player setting. Playing as one character. Or playing as one player, playing 2 players or something. Let's bring Thunder Speaker. I like Thunder Speaker. Thunder Speaker is moderate complexity. Vital strength is low. Rampant green is moderate. Low, 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 and high. And also this one's high. Whatever you do, Reigns, I appreciate your company. Dude, does the chat want to make a vote for who should accompany Thunder Speaker? There are lots of spirits that naturally synergize with Thunder Speaker. There are some spirits that are quite difficult. In the FAQ, if we're playing the scenario Guard the Isle's Heart, the end-to-end layout results in a more natural heart of the island with 2 lands number 7 touching each other. Yeah. So the layout that like you get when you push them on top wasn't exactly doing what we wanted, but yeah, this does feel a bit more natural. That's more of a heart. Earth or river? Well, if someone else in chat wants to place a vote for Earth or river, I'll do that. I haven't done viewer's choice in a long time. I even had a terrible graphic for it once upon a time. I think the terrible graphic for it, although I think I changed computers recently, so I have no idea what it's going to look like. This was an older layout, and it doesn't have the layout on here, so probably not. This is a super old layout. It claims this is the graphic. Yep, that's the graphic. Viewer's choice. Which wasn't even a graphic, it was just text. But in the, you know, early days of Dolphin's Dive, when we had just like this backdrop as our background, it was, you know, fun and very, you know, very, what's the word? Crude. All right, well, River is very good at pushing. Earth is very good at defending. Earth can gather explorers, can deal damage, and we are getting extra powers to begin the game with in case our base powers aren't necessarily good for dealing with the land, so maybe we'll try Earth. Thunder Speaker and Earth. And since these are 2 different lands, there's a chance that they will explore into one of the lands and we'll have to deal with it quickly. So yeah, so the rules, actually we should still pick the adversary. We're gonna go with Brandenburg, Prussia. Let's go with, no, we did that for the hard, the 17 difficulty games, so maybe we should go Sweden. Sweden is also going to have a bit of a hard time here. After invaders explore into each land, if that land has at least as many invaders as Dahan, replace Dahan with a town, that can also end the game more quickly. But let's do it on difficulty 3. Guard the Isle's Heart is actually listed as difficulty 0, so this is technically a difficulty 5 game, but I'm not against playing a lower difficulty game. It at least makes it maybe a bit faster, but it could also be terrible depending on how it goes. So, the escalation we just read. Heavy mining. If the invaders do at least 6 damage to the land during Ravage, add an extra blight. The additional blight does not destroy presence or cause cascades. Population pressure at home. During setup on each board, add a city to land number 4. On boards where land number 4 starts with blight, put that blight in land number 5 instead. Fine steel for tools and guns. Towns deal 3 damage, cities deal 5 damage, so it's more likely to trigger heavy mining. 10 fear cards, 3 on terror level 1, 4 on terror level 2, 3 on terror level 3. And guard the Isle's Hearts rules, the additional loss condition anytime after turn 1 if there is a town or a city in the inner land. So if we only have slow powers that destroy a town or a city and they're going to build there, we can, avoid that instant loss, but only after turn 1, or only during turn 1 do we avoid the loss. Anytime after turn 1 we would lose. The inner lands are land number 7, as we mentioned, so land number 7 on board D is this sands, and land number 7 on board B is this mountain. That's rotated 180 degrees, so it's actually this mountain. So this sands, this mountain forming the V is the inner land. After all of the setup, remove all towns. So the extra rules here didn't apply to towns at all. We have an extra city on land 4. There's naturally a city on land 2, but we're also going to have a city on land 4 on both boards. So they're adjacent cities. On each inner land, add 1 explorer and 1 presence from the player starting on that board. Each spirit starts with 2 additional power cards by drawing a single card from each of the 2 power decks. So the inner lands are going to start with an explorer as if they had already explored into that land. If they also explore there as the result of the initial explorer, well, then there will be 2 explorers there. Although we will be losing the town in land 6, but this is still adjacent to what will be the city in land 4, and I believe that's the case in both boards. So, well, actually, no, not quite. Land 7 here is not seen by 2 and 4. So if they do explore in the sands, there will not be an additional explorer. There will still be 1 placed by the start of game, but this town is gone. We will, however, have a presence in that land from both of us, so that's pretty nice. So Thunder Speaker starts with 2 presents, 1 in each of the 2 lands with the most Dahan. So that's going to be 1 and 7. So we're going to start with the Sacred Site in land 7 for Thunder Speaker. For Vital Strength, we put 3 presents on the starting board, 2 in the highest numbered mountain and 1 in the highest numbered jungle. Well, we're going to have a Super Sacred Site then in land 7 with Earth. What was the other one? I want to click on you. 1 in the highest numbered jungles, so that's going to be number 8. So we'll have a presence here and a Super Sacred Site here after setup is done. So Earth is going to have good visibility of the central board, which is nice. Having that 3rd presence there isn't as nice, and I don't think Earth has as easy of a means of moving presence or removing presence. Ramping green would be very easy to utilize that extra presence by preventing a build and preventing the loss of the game, but we're not playing with green. So let's go. So this is the initial setup. So they're exploring the wetlands. I guess technically, yeah, the initial explore happens regardless. Or it happens before we remove that town. So if they did explore the sands, there would have been that additional explorer. Alright, so now we're putting an additional presence in the central land to start the game, as if we had already grown. So it gets a bit interesting here in what we would like to do. I think getting to 2 card plays first is important for Thunder Speaker. And we can even get Earth to have 2 card plays on his first turn, although he will not have the energy to sustain that. So we might want to go energy route for you. Jungle Hungers for Thunder Speaker. Sad. Steam Vents for Thunder Speaker. Pillar of Living Flame for Earth. And Rouse the Trees and Stones for Earth. Man, Jungle Hungers on Earth would have been ridiculous. Well, maybe not. We don't have the moon, so maybe it's not as ridiculous. That is a pretty good card for Thunder Speaker to have. That will help a lot with saving the inner land. Pretty bad for the Dahan, though. So, okay, so presents from Dahan deaths are only from ravages, from blights from ravages, so it's not going to cause her to die. Just be careful about the escalation, indeed. Hello, Frenzy, how are you doing? Right, so we did get an extra card here, which was Rouse the Trees. Which kind of is a good Earth card. Earth doesn't need as much sun as he needs Earth and plant. Which wouldn't surprise me if this was in his power progression deck, but I guess he's also on that card, so I guess that is an Earth card. Or maybe not, maybe that's just trees turning into Earth. Maybe. Pillar of Living Flame, he only has one other fire card. Interesting. They're not building in the sacred land yet, so that's good. They went to the wetlands, which is the place where there's no city, so that's a good start. Because we have 2 cities in jungle, we have 1 city in sand, we have 1 sandy in mountain. Yeah, one. That made no sense. No, 1 city in mountain. There we go. Nothing in the wetlands though. We could easily destroy it, destroy and explore. We could also gather a Dahan and take out that explorer, but you would have like no energy to do that, would you? If you went this route though, you place a presence, put it in like D2, gather a Dahan into D3, stop that build, stop the other build. So that's interesting. You don't have as much preventative means. You can push an explorer now, though. Range 1 of your super sacred site. But that's slow. Okay, Year of Perfect Stillness to stop a build. If we stop the build in B1, then the Ravage would take out the explorer, at least. Could also, well, we can't target that land with rituals, I guess. We'd be targeting a wetland, so this would add blight, unfortunately. We could draw the mountain explorer in here. We could also draw two Dahan into there. There'll be a town there, but then we can defend it next turn. And we did start with energy track, so unfortunately we can't get to 2 card plays, so I can't really do all the things I would like to be able to do. I might not need to skip the actions in there. I guess I could gather this explorer into B1, but the B6, but that doesn't stop the Ravage there, right? I could let B1 blight, move the explorer, move the Dahan out, and use that Dahan to defend. So I want to be able to target these lands a bit more. Your effects are not range 0. So I think we want to put you more... Let's see. So you can already see B8 and B6. And B5 and B4. If I put you in B4, you also see B3, B2, and B1. So I think we want to put a presence in B4. And I want you to work towards 2 card plays now. I feel like I should have done 2 card plays, but I forgot we were getting extra cards, and we got a 1 energy card, and playing both of these actually would have been really nice. But instead, ooh, I could actually, oh, but I can't. Oh, actually, they're gonna build a town there. I could in fact deal 2 damage in B6, push the explorer into B1, and defend their next turn as long as I put a presence in B4, and that would work. Well, we also have this innate defend, I forgot. Well, I'm gonna leave my presence here, but we can deal with this. So I think we want to be able to do 2 damage, push 1 this turn, and then we'll need to defend 4 next turn. Okay, so what is this person going to do? We needed... I think we want a presence in D2 so that you can see D3. We can use Jungle Hungers to clear D3. That'd be a pretty terrible waste of that, I guess. But it would work. I think the plan was sudden ambush. Sudden ambush gives you fire and animal. Gives you this animal. Gives you a fire, but we're not going to have 3 card plays. I guess this is a land with Dahan, so I could go this route, but if we want to play sudden ambush, I think we need the energy. Steam Vents, which is John's favorite card, and Sudden Ambush would stop both of these builds. And I need energy to do that, so I'm gonna take Presence. Reclaim 1 is fun, but unlike River, we don't have energy regen on Thunder Speaker's cards, and these are some expensive cards, so getting to Reclaim 1 as fast as possible doesn't seem to work as well. How often does Lightning spend 3 energy to kill 1 Explorer? That stops both of the builds there, and we have a plan over there. We still have these central guys that we'll need to deal with. This city sees the central land, so we're going to need to deal with that city in B4 pretty quickly. Jungle Hungers does kill the town for fear. True. I feel like it's still not worth 3 energy. I need something I can deal with cities. BH. I guess we're not going to use Words of Warning next turn then, but that's... Well, okay, if I use Words of Warning next turn in D1, so that I don't need Steam Vents, what would I do that would be a bit better? Because... yeah, destroying an Explorer by itself is pretty lame of a power, and it's not really providing great elements here. I'm still thinking of Sudden Ambush for D3, but if I let that town build in D1 so we can get some fear. Can I deal with this city? Ignoring what they explore, can I deal with that city? We have manifestations. We have a card that does destroy cities, but we don't have any earths. So, or no, not earths. Wait, we don't have any plants. Right. We also have numbers. This card is dead for Thunder Speaker. But I mean, it's not dead. The elemental threshold is dead. But I can't use that to destroy cities. I could save the fast cards for next turn, I guess. So just to completely eschew everything I just did because John's making me question everything. Although I think it was just like saying, when I said like, this does nothing, he really meant it still destroys a town. What's my push 4? Push 4 is this one, right? Oh, I still have this innate, right? I want to get Dahan in here, I want to have presence in here, and I want to blow up this city, I think. I think if I do sudden ambush, no, that doesn't really help. I want to have, like, I only have one presence that can get here, and there's 2 Dahan that can get there as well. No bad lines. John's saying lines, and I've been watching some Jorb's videos, and he keeps saying lines. I need to, you know, I have my tablet here. I gotta write on my tablet so you see it on the screen and be like, well, there are no bad lines here. I think another line is jungle ambush. I need to keep my defend card though. I keep like trying to imitate Jorbs in every single stream. It's out of love, as was said before. But if you don't know who Jorbs is, then it doesn't make any sense. I don't know, I'm having such a hard time figuring this out. So what's my goals here? I could stop both the builds next turn, and then my defend card next turn does nothing. Saving the defend card might make sense. It does give me a sun, although I would need to play a sun and fire next turn, right? Manifestations would be a sun fire card. So if I did something like Wars of Warning and Manifestation, I would get this built up to where it could destroy a town for every 2 Dahan in Target Land. That doesn't do much for me, though. So maybe I don't worry about that. Because, like, if we're dealing with these towns in other ways, there's no other town to deal with. So getting this innate doesn't help. Getting to 1 city for every 3 Dahan would be doing something. So town build would make more explorers. Yeah, I guess it would actually see the Interland, right? So yeah, I do want to stop that town build. This town build does nothing though, so I could push that off for a moment. So stopping the Explorer in D1 makes sense. And I'll just do Steam Vents for that because I think it's not really going to be useful in any other capacity. So if I sacrifice D3 for the moment, I can easily deal with it, but if I instead focus my efforts on taking out that city in D4, taking out that city stops D6 from being explored, although it would still be explored because I can't do it fast. But if they don't do jungle next turn, we could potentially, you know, stop that explore. But getting rid of the, you know, inner land things are more important in this game than ever, so we have no suns, so we have no pushing. Unless I play a sun card. Voice of Thunder provides a push 4. And I don't need the Dahan in D1 once we take out that Explorer with Steam Vents. So I could push 4 out of D1, putting 3 in, say, D2. And then I can use this innate to gather 3 into D4. And I would also be able to, like, take both of my presents there, if I so wanted. And then Manifestation would then do 6 damage next slow phase. So if they do explore into the sands, it'd be perfect because we'll already have 6 damage there. If they do explore into the sands, though, we do have this guy over here we'll have to deal with, because if they build their next turn, it's terrible. Although we do still have sudden ambush if we go that route. So I think we'll do Voice of Thunder to get Dahan into D4 with the innate. Steam Vents to stop the build in D1. If they explore into sands, we can deal with this build here, and we can deal with this build, or this explore here, next fast phase. If they explore in the mountains, we'll need to deal with that fast. We can stop the action there if worse comes to worst. We can also gather to... Oh, that's... We're not playing that this turn, no. Yeah, we can stop that action if worse comes to worst, so let's try that out. This only took me 27 minutes to come together with, for no reason. Even when it's easier game, I'm slow. Okay, that was the situation we had planned for. So they technically didn't explore in D7, but they're still going to build there. All right, so I don't have my innate. I don't have an animal. Well, that sucks. That's the issue, is I don't have the animal. Well then, that's annoying. I'm gonna still push these 3 in here. Still gonna push you there, and then I'm gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do here. That's annoying. We can still do this. Stupid animal. If I had played Sudden Ambush just on D1, we would have gotten the animal. Oh well. You don't need energy, I think. I want you to have 2 card plays. Is there any reason to play Pillar of Living Flame this turn? I don't think so. Let's have you gain a power card. I don't particularly like Pillar of Living Flame for you, so let's give you a different major. Entwined Power gives you plant. Trees and Stones gives you plant and earth. That's really good. I always love trees and stones too. And you would be able to get that threshold. And someone's gonna say, Tsunami, Lude, Tsunami! Also Power Storm. You don't have any heirs. Repeating a power card. Gaining 3 energy allows you to pay for its cost again. Fast Explorer Destruction, indeed. And that's something that Earth has issues with. So I think it's Trees and Stones will get rid of Pillar of Living Flame. Make this a sacred site that I wanted to have. So the plan was to defend. Well, that was weird. Did something bad there. Plan was to defend 4 there. I don't know why I don't have an extra Dahan there. I think I didn't do something I thought I was doing. Oh, I guess I was going to draw the Fruitful Earth and then I didn't. Because I didn't have enough energy. Does that give me elements? It does. Interesting. Bug! Feature. Oh, that's true. What is Thunder Speaker going to do? What do we need Thunder Speaker to do? Yeah, this build is going to be tough to deal with. I'm sacrificing that. We have to stop this. This has to happen. So Sudden Ambush has to happen in D7. That's our only means of dealing with D7 unless we were to reclaim in Steam Vents or something, but we don't. Oh, we do have presence there. But still. Reclaim would get me back my Voice of Thunder, but we would have the same problem where I can't push the Dahan in there. If I do double presence, I have to play Words of Warning anyway, right? I don't really have good presence movements unless I want to get into this board, which I could very well do. Well, not too well. I can get into these lands. Range 2 means I can not go that far. I can go to B7, B8, and then range 1 doesn't see B1 or B3. So that's not too good. But double presence, if I can afford the energy for it, is better because you get more growth. So Manifestation and Sudden Ambush gives me an animal, so I can trigger this, which will help with Dahan movement. And it will give me 1 sun. Oh, maybe not Sudden Ambush. Or no, it has to be Sudden Ambush. Right, I can't do Words of Warning. So I'm not triggering this effect. No, I can't really use Words of Warning. I'm not worried about D3. I have to deal with D7, so I have to play Sudden Ambush. If I do manifestations, I would have the animal for this. I would have 3 air. So I could gather 3 Dahan out of D2 into D4 and then use manifestations there. There's going to be a town build there. It's going to be 6, so I would just need at least 2 presents there. Which, well, you'll have that 2 presents there. So I'm not sure if I still... I guess if I do sudden ambush and manifestation, I'm going to use all my energy. Next turn I'll have 0 energy and it'll be sad days. So I think I'll just do this for more energy. Work towards 2 card plays? I guess I was saying, like, you don't naturally have energy. You do naturally have energy. You have energy right here. So get to reclaim 1 and only ever gain 4 energy per turn. There we go. There's a plan. I want you to be able to see these lands someday. I'm going to put a presence there. It sees the same as B8 does, but also B4 and B5. And we need these 2 cards. So it's gather 3, push 1. All we need is to gather 3 into there and we're good. If I had... Well... I guess if I put a presence here and I gathered 3 and have 3 presents here and then I push 1 Dahan out of there but leave the presents in there, manifestations would still kill everything. But then we have a Dahan in D3 that we could use. Maybe. Maybe. Also, words of warning next turn, that's not going to do too much. I guess if we can get a Dahan into B5, we could words of warning there next turn. I think that's what, yeah, that's what... I thought that's what Seamus was saying, but he's saying D5. But if he's talking about this land for the defend, that would also remove the blight. Yeah, so if I saved guard the healing land for that, we could do blight removal. What if we used trees and stones? Also, we have a repeat that I forgot about. We could repeat sudden ambush. Is this 1 energy? Oh, 1 energy. We have no 1 energy, so that repeat's useless. If I had trees and stones, I still get this threshold. That does nothing. Draw of the Fruitful Earth would be repeated if I did that instead. I would lose the rituals. Was I planning on rituals for B3? Because that seems pretty lame. Draw of the Fruitful Earth allows for Dahan movement that can get this presence over into the Eastern Sands. I have trees and stones for B1. That is 1 damage. It takes out an explorer. Lowers this. Or is it actually not, because it's 3 damage per? It's 3 damage per. So there's actually 4 damage happening here. So trees and stones is actually good. Good thing I remembered that. We can't move any other Dahan into there, so... If we did Year of Perfect Stillness... The problem is, if I leave that town there... I guess they can't explore B5, and they're already exploring B6, so this town's not doing anything for the time being. Trees and stones would be better for B3 next turn, probably. Yeah, I think the repeat... Oh, we can't repeat sudden ambush, though. Shoot. If I want to repeat Draw of the Fruitful Earth, I can't play Year of Perfect Stillness. So we have, like, you know, situations here. That doesn't give me a repeat either. The repeat's not super necessary though, but it's also kind of nice to have a repeat randomly. You like killing the town, yeah. That guarantees that we can take out the town. I'm not worried about that blight. Well, we could stop that build. Oh, maybe not, but we can. We could hear a perfect stillness if we want to stop that build outright. But I think Words of Warning was a plan for dealing with B5, so I'm not worried about that build. Although that build does mean they see B6 after all, but they're not exploring in the wetlands, so it does nothing. I kind of want to save that for when I could actually repeat it, although we could repeat Words of Warning next turn, but I'm not sure. I guess you could repeat Words of Warning into B3. Let's see, with that town, that's 3 + 1 is 4, so defend 3 would be good enough for that. So if we had this repeat set up for next turn, we'd be good. Okay. Okay. So to have that repeat, we need to have, you know, elements. So what are things that we would want? We need another earth and plant. So one of these two cards. Well, what am I doing? I'm trying to figure out what 2 card plays I can do next turn that will give me the elements I need, and then not play those cards. So guard the healing land and rituals. Still gives me that, I guess. So that's another line. So the funny thing about rituals is it also deals with B3, but I guess I could take out B7 with that. An absolute waste of an action, but... Alright, so defend for B1 and sudden ambush for D7. And then gather and manifestation for D4. And then we're going to have Words of Warning for B5 and B3. We're going to have to get a Dahan in there, I guess. Is part of the problem with that. Which Draw the Fruitful Earth would do. But I should be able to just play those 2 cards. Right? Because I can get this threshold. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time just visualizing this. I can get that threshold, yeah, with those cards. Okay, so draw a Fruitful Earth so we can get Dahan into D5, or B5, and then guard the healing. Okay, alright. I think we're good. Yeah, I'd be able to clear B7. Oh no! Alright, I did explore the mountains. So you have to get rid of B7 then. They're ravaging Annette Sands. The problem though is that's 3 + 1 damage, that's 4, and Words of Warning is defend 3. But I thought the plan was to gather Dahan in there, wasn't it? We'll figure it out. This card was so we get Dahan in here. So I have to play the card that gets Dahan in there. and figure out what we're gonna do afterwards. I guess we could have trees and stones also. That would do 2 damage and defend 4. Actually, that would just take out that town. And then defend 4 is enough for the explorers. We could still do wards of ambush on B3. Okay, so now let's gather 3. Take all of these along for the ride. And we need all of them here for this to kill them. Okay. The problem is that trees on B3 has the same problem that trees on B6 had. Or B1, I guess, rather. I think. Because towns are dealing 3 in this because of the adversary. Towns deal 3, so it's 4 damage in here. But we do get defend force. Never mind. There are 2 Dahan. You're right. All right, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. But if I do trees and stones in B5, we would clear that land entirely. As long as this is defended, it's cleared. If this is just defended, it's not cleared. We have a jungle hungers that if I don't reclaim, I could have you reclaim 1 if you went with inner energy. If we went with double track. So if I have you reclaim 1 just so you could play 3 cards and play your hand and all that, you'd have 0 energy for next turn. And next turn is a reclaim turn. I guess I don't have to play jungle hungers. It's not doing anything and it's not giving me elements. Okay, so we need words of warning, we need trees and stones. We don't actually need the double effect, I think, is the thing. Defend 4 plus 2 damage, take out the town, leaves 3 damage there for explorers. And then words of warning. Wait, no, do I still need this? No, I don't. Defend 3 is good enough for B3. So I don't need the repeat. And D4 and D7 aren't ravaging. They're building in D5 and B2. I mean, honestly, we're pretty well set up in this game. There aren't many things happening. I think it's fine. It is tier 2 escalation, though, and the escalation effect after they explore, if they're outnumbered. Yeah, we kind of have to think about that, don't we? But only kind of, because the lands that have Dahan in them have at least 2, and they won't have explorers in them. So that's good. D5 should probably be dealt with in some capacity, though. Jungle nom-noms. If I put a presence in the jungle, then Jungle Hungers would target D5 and take it all out. There's no Dahan in there, so we won't lose our Dahan friends. The thing is, though, if our plan was to do Words of Warning in B3, this is range 1, you need to have presence somewhere close. I guess I may do this route, though. Reclaim 1 is nice and all, but extra energy can't hurt. Let's put a presence there and a presence... Ah, but I can't get a presence in the jungle now, can I? If I did that. I guess... if I did this to get a presence in the jungle. I can get a presence. Oh yeah, because I could push. Okay, you're right. Yeah, so I would prefer to be able to do treason, to do words of warning over here. So let's do this and then throw this. These are literally the same land. Put it in the sacred land. Yeah, that's what I was originally thinking. I was doing to repeat here and do trees and stones in B3. Basically accomplishing the same thing, except we would have an explorer left in B5. An explorer by itself doesn't do anything. I think I have to do that. We do have this gather. It gathers 2, pushes 1. So we can get a Dahan in D2, which means we can have a presence in D2, and then Jungle Hungers can target D5. Yeah. What about Earth? Tempted to go for more energy, especially because range 0 means you can't get a sacred site somewhere else. Building in the mountains, maybe setting up for a sacred site at B2 next turn so I don't have to do a super defend there. I should be able to just sustain 3 energy for the time being, especially because I took extra energy. So you want trees and stones. Probably gonna reclaim next turn. You're not really viewing any land that has Dahan. But I don't know what we could Year of Perfect Stillness other than stopping a town in here. If I stop the town in there, it doesn't do much, because that's 5 and 1 is 6. I'd have to defend 6 in there. Sacred Site is defend 3. Or, if they build a town, then it's defend 9 as well. Defend 8 is what I would need. They do 9 damage. If I have 3, my defend hurt only does 4. Yeah, I guess Year of Perfect Stillness on B2 would be better. Can't really do Dahan pushing with Gather because, or Dahan gathering for B2 because we need this over here. I think if I have a sacred site and I do the defend and stop this build, I should not have to worry about this, I think. I could also Year of Perfect Stillness next turn, I guess. Yeah. We'll just reclaim anyway. Exploring the mountains. And none of them had Dahan. And we have this guy back. Freddy's back. We can Year of Perfect Stillness Freddy next turn, I guess. Alright, so we can stop. Actually pretty good. They didn't add an extra Explorer in B2. But what we need to do is get things here ultimately. Well, just one thing at least. But we'll gather 2. Gather 2. Kind of want to have some Dahan over there. Keep that land in check. I also want to keep the Dahan with Thunder Speaker. Because if I have, like... If they do explore, like, in the jungle next turn... Oh, but the problem is... Actually, if they explore in the sands, this guy's gone already. If they explore in a jungle... That guy's gone as well. Do we have fast gathering? No? Oh, no, we do. Never mind. Duh. Yes, we do. Okay, I'm gonna need to take this guy out with Gather the Warriors. Actually, hold on. This gathers 2, right? Or not gather, but sudden ambush. Oh no, it gathers 1. Okay. Well, you could probably get a card that gathers 2 or pushes 2 or something. So I do want to just keep these guys here, because if I push only 1 into here, it's actually a super chance that... Actually, it's a guaranteed chance that at least one of these guys... Well, I guess unless they explore coastal, but anyway. Hi! We have a fear card as well. So both these peeps are reclaiming. You don't have energy for a major power. I'm not really fond of Jungle Hungers, but I don't have energy for a major power, so I'm just going to take Minor, at least to start with. We want something that might do something with Dahan. Maybe. Especially if it's fast, which we don't have. What do we want? Well, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Quicken the Earth is kind of interesting with Thunder Speaker because we can get a sacred site where we need it and then defend 10 there, but that's not immediately necessary. This is a slow power. Slow power. Fast power, range 0. I mean, at worst comes to worst, we gather the Explorer from D4 into D2, which serves no purpose except to gather a Dahan. So like, we're not worried about D2. It's just, it's not ideal. Do I have the energy for that, by the way? Oh, yeah, I'll have 4. Okay. So I don't really care about these cards, TBH. I guess Call Attend is fine for pushing 3 Dahan. But like, these 2 fast cards I'm not excited by. This slow power I'm not excited by. Can't even remove the Blight in B5 or D5. It would remove the Blight in D3, I guess, which we kind of set up earlier in the game. So now we can remove it. So what elements would I like? Animal, sun, fire. I'll take an animal. I guess this technically gives me fire, but I'll take Call Attend. At least not going to be terrible. Let's see here. Call of the Dahan Ways. The only moon card I have is Jungle Hungers. Elemental Boon. What overlap do we have? We have Sun. Yay, we have Sun. Guess there's also the question of, you know, elemental thresholds. Like, we can get the threshold on trees and stones with Elemental Boon without having to have Earth play any other card. But what other elemental thresholds are we interested in? Jungle Hungers. Except we have no... Well, I guess we have one other plant. Hello. Now, if I did Call to Tend, Jungle Hungers, Elemental Boon, we'd have no energy. So that wouldn't work. Okay, scratch that. I don't think Elemental Boon is going to be too good in this game because the only overlap is that sun. Sun, fire, air, and plants by Purifying Flame. Not really too exciting of a card otherwise. Gift of Power just gives a plant. It's a better card for Earth, actually. In terms of thresholds. I'm kind of just leaning towards Purifying Flame for elements, but these aren't really... I guess... Actually, that would remove the Blight in the mountain. Call of Tend also removes a Blight, just, you know, by virtue of existing. I could call the Dahan Ways. That's the anti-Sweden card, right? Gift of Power has Jungle Hunger Elemental Thresholds. through. I would have enough energy to play Call of 10, Jungle Hungers, and Gift of Power. You would be sacrificing a Dahan. Not from Jungle Hungers. I mean, if they explore the sands or if they explore coastal, none of the Dahan are gone. Actually, there's no Dahan in D3. It's only if they explore in the jungle is there a loss of a Dahan, actually. Do I gamble the 1 in 3 chance that they don't explore jungle? John's going to say I could have done it from D6. He did say it. I mean, he did say it. I'm going to not acknowledge that he said it by acknowledging what he said, but not discussing it any further. I can't rewind anymore. But the reason I wanted the Dahan over here was because I wanted to keep them close to D3, just because I wanted them to be able to eventually destroy these guys someday. That was my reasoning. It does put a risk there. There would be no risk of losing Dahan if I moved them there, except for the Sands Explorer. Actually, yeah, if they explore Sands, I'm still screwed, right? It's actually 2 out of 4 chance. So no. So no, I do want to get rid of this, because if I move this Dahan into the mountain, into the jungle, then there's a 0 out of 4 instead of a 2 out of 4. Which means that I'm not really going to be pushing for Jungle Hungers this turn. I could set up for next turn, no. So yeah, probably Gift of Power. So I want to keep all the plant cards for the next turn. We need a sudden ambush to stop this Dahan from dying. It's the saddest sudden ambush, I know. I could actually, you know, maybe if I don't play sudden ambush, if I have 4 air, which I have 1 innately, so I just need to play 3 air cards, then this power is fast. Not this power, this power. If I play 4 air cards, this is fast. If I play 3 air cards, this is fast. If one of them is an animal, then I can actually do the effect on it. So, like, I could do, like, these. And then this may be fast. And we can actually gather everything into D3. Don't necessarily need to play these cards, but there is a way to do it without having to use sudden ambush. I have sudden ambush here, but we still have to deal with this guy, and we could sudden ambush him. There's a Ravage in the jungle. And Steam Fence is trash. So let's figure out what Earth's going to do. It's a reclaim and add presence range 2, and I think we're going to put the presence there. You have 3 card plays if you can afford it. If you played these 3 cards, you would not hit that level threshold. If instead of Browse the Trees, you did that, you would have this threshold. We can repeat a cost 3 card twice. Fortunately, we were planning on Guard to Healing Land for B2, but if we can, you know, circumvent that in some capacity, it'd be a bit better, wouldn't it? If you did that, you'd have that threshold. You can get a Defend 2 somewhere else, and then push 2 Dahan. So you can get the Defend 2 in B3, push that into B2. Defend 2 per, so it'd be Defend 7. And then that would be enough to clear that board. So if you can play a mountain card, we get that threshold. So we can repeat. So, can we do something else with things here? We're just mainly playing for animals, or playing for airs and 1 animal, so Manifestations is an air. Costs 3 energy, you have none to spare. But if you did Voice of Thunder and Manifestation, which you'd have to lose steam vents. Oh, but that's not going to work now, is it? If I get rid of Sudden Ambush, but that's the problem, is I can't do that. I don't have that now. I don't have that because I played the wrong one. That's the one. It'd be nice to be able to, like, manifest in B4, but I don't think we have enough actions for that. So let's just stick with, we have to do Sudden Ambush for B7, otherwise the game's over. And we have to play 2 more air cards. This gives you Lead the Furious Assault, which may be fast. So you can gather all the Dahan into D3, and we have Lead the Furious Assault that destroys the town in B3. Aha! Sudden Ambush in this land. No words of warning, that does nothing except contribute elements. But at least pushing 4 gets the Dahan out of D7 somewhere closer to relevancy, or pushes these guys out into a place of relevancy. Okay, so that takes care of that. Though I think I was planning on... Actually, no. No, no. Second thought, second thought. Let's take this guy. Do. Here. Extra defend. And then gather these. There. It was also kind of necessary because we needed to not have that town there in order for... there was 2 invaders, we couldn't have them explore into wetlands. Yes, the original plan was to gather them in D2, but at least this way now we did something that gave us fear. Okay, we have a repeat. What is a useful repeat? Guess a double rituals will take care of the city here. Isn't bad. Double push 4 gets Dahan into positions a lot more easily. Like, this defend doesn't need anything more. I could gather, or rather push these 2 Dahan into B4. I'm not sure. It would provide a place where there's Dahan for rituals, right? Is that part of it? I guess if I draw the Fruitful Earth after that, then the rituals would do 5 damage, which is enough to take out the city. If I did double voice on the slow phase, yeah, that would work also. There's no need to double this. They're gonna explore somewhere that we'll gather from, right? I guess there's a chance that they could gather a bunch along the coast if they explore coastal. It doesn't matter if I gather 2 or push 2, right? If I did this instead of this, that would be a bit silly. And you can only push 2 at most, so I think it's double draw. Double draw does a bit more than this. I think that's the line. Each player removes an explorer from a land with Dahan. Good. That was easy. That was an exciting build. They are doing coast. Okay, so double draw gives us a lot, which is kind of interesting. So gather these two, pull you along, then do that again. They're gonna ravage in the mountains, and that's, well, I guess there's no more Dahan there. So maybe actually I should leave 1 Dahan there. We have lots of Dahan in other places. Then the rituals. Doesn't actually kill all the explorers, but it stops the coastal builds, so it's still useful. Alright, so we don't have a double push. They are exploring the jungle, so the plan was to have Thunderspeaker play all of her plant cards to get this threshold on Jungle Hungers. That would destroy this jungle that has the city in it, so I'm not worried about that. The wetlands, I'm not sure what the plan is for there. I could push these 3 Dahan into D1, and they would not get outnumbered then. I guess currently B2 is a bit... Well, actually, no, we already had the mountain escalation, so this Dahan's safe. These Dahan are safe. This Dahan is not seen by anything. So if I push these 3 into there, and take all the presents... I want to have a presence in the jungle in order to Jungle Hungers. So if I go this route, you get that presence. Could reclaim 1, could take a natural fire. Oh, well, we're not going to play that card anyway, so we'll just take the natural fire then. That gives me the energy, that gives me the Jungle Hungers threshold, and we can gather 1 and push 0 in the slow phase. How do you have no energy? How did that happen? Well, the nice thing is there's no Ravage in the mountains to worry about, so the question is just, I guess, what other things could we do? I think Earth just doesn't have much to do. If you reclaim and add a presence at range 2, you can get to D4 or to D1 or other things. So I guess you're not actually doing much other than Dahan movements. So maybe some extra movement over there. Using a trees and stones, if you repeated trees and stones, it's range 1. Unfortunately, repeat, you can't actually see that well enough. The only neighbor to D1 and D3, the only mutual neighbor is D2, which you can't reach. So yeah, this game's been pretty easy, honestly. That was a setup rule, so that's passed. We've not gotten 6 damage because we've avoided everything. The extra damage has been a factor, but we haven't had this swayed by the invaders yet. And yeah, we kept the Isle's Heart very, very guarded, so that's nice. I'm just... Yeah, at best you can do trees and stones. If you gain a power card, you will have no range, though. But everything is range 1. This is tragic. Everything is range 1. So I can move you somewhere in order to deal with, you know... I can trees and stone something to stop a town build, but what purpose does that serve? I guess if they build a town in the wetlands and then they explore the sands, then we have a risk. So I guess we do probably want to try to just stop that slightly. Terrible waste of an action, but... Guess I could still draw the Fruitful Earth. Don't have enough energy for rituals. I guess that gives me 2 damage. That can take out D3, but it doesn't reach, so never mind. Is there any reason to try to get Sun and Earth? I can't afford it. So I don't have energy. Like, that's the only way I play 3 cards. One of them has to be trees and stones anyway, and there's no 2 energy card. So if there's utility in these, we can play it. Being able... Oh, I guess, again, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Range 1 Sacred Sites. That would take out the 2 Explorers and B4. Gather, gather. Do-do-do. Yeah, Digital Spirit Island is really good. I played 1 physical game. I was planning on doing more, but then I started getting nervous about my next week, because next Monday I start teaching and I have to be prepared for that. And since it's all online, I have to do a bit more planning and organization than normal, because I have to set up Blackboard sites and all that. So I haven't been playing the physical game that much. I played it once, so it's not even that I played it that much, but I wanted to play it a little bit more, especially because I got Jagged Earth. But the physical game is so daunting because you have to do all the setup and all the cleanup in addition to playing the game. Like, normally in a digital game, when the game's close to over, I start dicking around and trying to destroy as many explorers that don't matter, and trying to, like, maybe I might care about points and I'll try to remove Blight and gather Dahan and add Dahan. But when I'm playing physically, it's like, well, I have to finish this game so that I can clean this up and move on to something else faster. Like, and I didn't even calculate how many points I even had in that game, although I realized after the fact that the points calculation is kind of tied into the cleanup, because you just add the cards in the discard, or cards in the Explorer deck, you add the Dahan on the board, you add the Blight. That's basically it, plus the Explorer, or the difficulty. So let's try this. You have no fast, you only have fast, you have 1 repeat. I'm not sure how effective it is. It's annoying this is a fast power. Double Gift of Power, double minor powers. Because there's no way you're playing your hand next turn. There might be a way to get 8 energy, but you would not play your hand next turn. But you could already just do Gift of Power once there, but I guess... I mean, if you reclaim 1, you would have an extra card, so you don't need a minor, or you don't need a power. Game is silly. So do I expect to push 3 Dahan twice? Or something else? They're building in this coastal. It would be kind of funny to do push here and push here to have 6 Dahan there, but that's so unnecessary. So unnecessary. I guess being able to do double 2 damage on the east board will at least keep these explorers in check. Invaders do not explore into lands with at least 2 Dahan. Exploring sands. So we stopped this. Yay! So if I did this bullshit. Alright, that land's clean. Yay! I could have also... Oh, that was Sacred Site, so actually... That could only be used on the east, but would have made more sense to have used this... over here. I guess you could still reach this, and there's no need to double gather. For jungle hungering, right? So let's take these explorers into the jungle. I don't particularly want to move Dahan in there, although they are safe because of the escalation. The only thing left is this town right here. Can we deal with this town? I guess I'll gather those guys, because there's nothing happening there. I guess actually there's still wetlands, right? I don't want both there. There's also jungle too, isn't there? Son of a bitch. I'm not going to gather it all then. Stay there. Okay, so you're done. You're... I guess I could have put one in there and pushed it out or something. I don't know. Now I'm kind of changing my mind again. Yeah, so go ahead and gather the things after all. Then we could gather this one. It's Jungle Hungers to kill that land. Then push those guys, but one at a time. Winning as hard as I can. Yes, that's how I go. That's floating presents. All right. Sure. I don't know who wants this minor power. Can you do anything useful in D3? That's Sacred Site range 1, so no, not really. You could already just gain a minor power or something, so let's give this to you. Anything that destroys a town fast? No. Anything that gives me elements, like sun or fire? There's sun. Sure, it's sun, why not? But do I have 2 air? No. I can't do that fast. I don't have 3 earth. That's slow. Gonna do anything. Well, actually a bit tragic then. We could reclaim and do range 2. Trees and stones, 6 damage there. Okay. Sure. Nah. Actually, no. Yeah. Still nothing that does anything fast that's useful. Encompassing ward, sure. Now major power. Well, that doesn't do anything either. When with Steam Vents, did I take an Earth card? I did take an Earth card. Alright. Do I have enough energy to play that all, though? No. Wait, what? Oh. Oh, there's the Earth card. Okay, now we got it. We can win the game with Steam Vents. Yay! We can win the game with Trees and Stones. Doesn't really matter what else you play. Just play stuff. Finish playing. Steam Vents victory. And that was also Terra level 1 or 0 or whatever, so We only saw one, or no, we saw 2 fear cards this game. And it's actually moderately early for once. Swift response. Is that the one for, yeah, clearing the land of invaders. Return to game, thank you. 52 points. If I had removed a blight, we would have had 53 points. Probably could have. I probably played a card that removed a blight. Whoops. Oh well. It's not 54, so it doesn't matter. But alright. That was fun. So, let's now play a different game, I think. Maybe. Let's play Aeon's End. I've not played Aeon's End in a while. So, Aeon's End. Step 1. Step 2. Open Chrome. Step 3. Change title. Change game. Update that. Step 5, see what the Steam code for Aeon's End is. Step 4, go to step 6, which is actually step 6. Step 6, put in new app ID, update settings, settings updated. Alright. So I've not actually played Beyond Blightlord, I think. I've not played this expansion that much, actually. We'd go with just Blightlord. I don't want a super hard game. Random. Alistar Zazos. Or Zazos. Yep, that is the new mage, and that's Zazos. Alright, we can go for that. Allies gain 4 charges, so that's 4 charges to Alistar, so he gets a spell for free. Random! It's the Leeching Agate! And then other things. Is this no this one? No, that one's not new. There's only one new card here, right? That's new. Oh, that's also new. Okay, let's go with that. I'm not particularly sure if this is good synergy at all, but I just wanted to have some new cards. Let's go! Not played this game in a very long time. I think it's been like 2 months, because I think I mostly did one deck dungeon last month, and I've not played this yet this month either, so... Alright, so what's going on here? Unleash. Your Unleash rule is any player gains a Tainted Jade. Tainted Jade, gain 2 ether, not energy. Gain 2 ether, suffer 1 damage, or spend 2 ether to destroy this. If you destroy this card in any other way, suffer 1 damage. And there's rules for if there's, if the player would gain a Tainted Jade, but the supply pile is empty, suffer 1 damage instead. If there's only 1 Tainted Jade in the supply pile, advance the Tainted Track. If there is 0, advance it twice. The Tainted Track is here. So we lose the game if it advances too far, and there's various effects that happen as it progresses. So gaining a Jade puts it in your trash, right? Yeah? Yeah? No. And you don't have that much going on. 4 ether. How much does this cost? It's free. We can gain as many as we want. Great. All right. No, we're not doing that. I think I did that last time too. I'm the master of old jokes. Yeah, 4 ether. There's nothing that costs 2 other than charging or focusing. Oh! Oh! Yes, you're right. You're right. I forgot to enable that. It took people 5 minutes to notice that was black. I am so sorry. Let's start over again. Hi, I'm Lou Dolphin. Sorry, guys. This is super embarrassing. Been playing to a black screen for 5 minutes. Well, alright. So I'll let you guys view the board that you haven't been seeing for a while. Thanks, John. Yeah, so here's what's going on here. We have Zazos, we have Malistar. I gave Malistar a Tainted Jade because of Unleash. Gravehold suffers 3 damage. That's the Tainted track. These are our cards. So Leeching Agate, when you gain this, gain 1 charge, gain 2 ether. Sifter's Pearl, gain 2 ether. Each player reveals the top card of their deck and either discards it or returns it to the top of their deck. Clouded Sapphire, gain 3 ether. If this is the first time you've played Clouded Sapphire this turn, any ally gains 1 charge. Blasting Staff, you may cast a prep spell that you prep this turn. If you do, that spell deals 2 additional damage. Temporal Helix, cast any player's prepped spell without discarding it. Phoenix Flame, deal 2 damage. You may lose 1 charge to deal 2 additional damage. Ignite, deal 2 damage. Any ally gains 1 charge. Essence Theft, deal 3 damage. You may discard a card in hand. If you do, any player gains 1 life. Feral Lightning, the spell may be prepped to a closed breach without focusing it. Deal 3 damage. I'm going to put that spell there. So, do I want Blasting Staff? I only have 1 spell. No, I guess I have the Sparks. I actually have 2 spells. Problem is, if I get it now, it's going to be in a bad order, because it's going to be... I'm going to draw these 5 cards, then I'm going to draw Blasting Staff and 4 Sparks, right? So... I think I'm going to take Ignite. That will get charges going around. So the interesting thing about Alistar is that he doesn't start with an open breach. So, I'm very tempted to just open this breach. We only have this 1 spell, and if I open it, you're not doing anything else. If I focus this breach, I could charge. But the funny thing about manually charging this is that it's kind of like... Other than the fact that you get this prepped to an open breach immediately, and any player's open breach for that matter, it's kind of like you're spending 12 ether to get a spell. So I don't particularly want to manually charge it. I'd be fine to, you know, charge it indirectly. I definitely want to prep this. And I feel like I don't want to just keep focusing this breach. This one also has a +1, so I'm just going to open it so I have that open. Funny thing about this game, although it's kind of true of like Spirit Island as well, is that because you start with the same hand and your deck starts the same and your breaches are the same, it's very easy for people to basically have their first 2 turns decided, I think. Obviously, there are different factors, like what is the nemesis I'm playing against? Is there a nemesis card I need to deal with more quickly? is there a card here that I want to purchase quickly? But in terms of like Malistar, I feel like the first turn is almost always going to be to open this breach, at least for me. Like maybe there might be a situation where I focus this breach and you get a 2 energy gem that, you know, or 2 ether. I keep saying energy. It's a different game. It's ether. But yeah, it sometimes just feels to me like that it's kind of a decided game in the opening. It's kind of like chess, but not as much as chess, because chess, like the first 10 moves are basically decided, but not really. Like, depends on what opening you like. It depends on how your opponent responds to it, so it's not really decided. But I'm not really fond of like fixed starts, if you haven't really noticed. I like being able to evaluate what's in front of me and respond accordingly, which I guess is what I just said about chess. Alright, might as well do that. It is Malistar. So Malistar is next. This is 3 damage. We'll do it there. Okay. So you got your ignites. Now, I could just keep trying to buy things that cost 4 ether, but unless my spending power goes up, I'm not going to get anywhere. Leeching Agate gives me an immediate charge, and charge is useful. I don't really want too many of those, though, because it's just a more expensive jade otherwise. Sifter's Pearl sifts your deck. Prep that anyway. So I'm going to take Leeching Agate. Want to get the charge game going. We're not dealt damage. Go ahead and damage you, though. 5 ether. Now here we can actually get a pretty good spell. Spell may be prepped to a closed breach. We don't really have super powerful spells this game. We don't have things that scale up really well, such as the Way of Life. But we do have Temporal Helix, so maybe our goal is to get spells prepped and just Temporal Helix them for the rest of the game. Maybe. But let's see. We're not damaged right now. I guess it's Feral Lightning. This market is basically hold out till the target runs out of cards. Yep, that is a means of winning, is expire the Nemesis deck, and if there's no cards in play, then you win. Might have to be how we progress. Alright, Unleash. Any player suffers 3 damage and draws a card. Probably a bit better for Malistar, because Malistar doesn't have a spell in hand. This is the Unleash, though. So we could spread the Tainted Jades around and then have someone else suffer the damage. Be a bit better if you had your spell in play right now. Players collectively gain 2 Tainted Jades and put them in their hand. Well, the good news is we can just get rid of them in both hands if we do nothing, which is sad. So do that. Now, we're down to 2. Kind of hard to tell because clicker drag card down is in the way, but there's 2 left in there. So if we gain another Tainted Jade, he's going to start progressing down this track. And if there are 0, he advances twice. So we're going to have to get rid of at least one of these. You do have 4 ether next turn that you can use to get... You didn't get a Leeching Agate, did you? You got a spell. Yeah, so we want you to get a Leeching Agate at some point. But you can do it next turn. If we have good spending power, we can just destroy gems. So we might want to focus on getting better spending power. There's nothing else to really hit other than you right now, so I guess we don't really need the spell game going too strong. But while we do each have one open breach, it'd be nice if we can prep one spell per turn. So we're still missing one. Whoops. Nope, not gaining that. The other one is over here, so. 2 ether left. Charge. Unleash twice and any player gains 2 charges. Or Gravehold suffers 4 damage. Think the tainted jades aren't that terrible to have to destroy just yet, so we might just do that. Any player gains 2 charges. That's, you know, cool and all. Let's just give it to Malistar then. If you get this charged up, then Malistar gets 4 charges. Which you might be able to do this turn, if you wanted. Although it's not a good time to do it, because revealing the turn order deck only reveals the fact that the next card is Malistar. Okay, we're not casting that just yet. We have 5 ether, though. I could charge... If I leeching agate, I get a charge, though. I could charge and take a Sifter's Pearl. I could charge and take a Phoenix Flame, but... Next turn we have a spell, 3 crystals, and a Tainted Jade, so we could destroy it or use it. It does look like we're kind of synced up to have 1 spell per turn, so that's fine. You don't have that agate, so let's take the agate. I believe if I use this now, it shuffles it. It does. So we can entirely control this next turn. Or next round, which is good. We want to end on a player so we could do this again. The goal being to stop on, or to get, you know, 5 charges here, which is nice. Did I get too many charges here? I might have, but I can't rewind now, so... Should have paid attention to how many charges I got, because he's giving 4 charges off of that. So I don't know how many charges I had, but John will be sure to tell me how bad I was. Anyway. I would like to get a Nemesis turn out of the way, especially when... I want to just click and drag this in its order, but that's not correct. Kind of want to start with Blightlord. We don't have that much going on. There's nothing to hit, and Tainted Jades are not terrible just yet, and... yeah. So let's do Blightlord on top. Maybe 3 player turns and then Blightlord, and then another player turn. In any case, we want Zazos, who's going next, to have Malistar, or at least another player in front of him. So maybe Zazos and then Malistar. Both of them are going to have things that can react to Nemesis or to minions in play. So maybe we could do Blightlord after that. You're not going to have a spell ready. You're going to have a singular spark ready. So it might be better to do Blightlord after that, and then some combination of these two. Let's have Zazos finish. We have this ready. We don't have an open breach. Maybe if I had put this in a closed breach, I would have been, you know, able to use this. Whoops. Activate during your main phase. I guess, well, next turn you will be able to do something with that. Okay. Whoops. Hey, Shard Spitter. We'll be able to deal with him. Overflow of damage, though. We knew that. Do I destroy this, or do I suffer the damage and charge and gain leeching agates? We're not really going to have many means of charging this otherwise. I guess they're going to have 6 ether next turn, so you'd be able to get it charged fully. Except not quite that. Activate during... Is this any player's main phase? During my main phase, okay. Malistar is going next, so we could get any spell prepped right now. You can get Ignite prepped, and then I could save 2 ether for you for not much reason other than get this charged, use it, and then charge 2. That might be better. Still have 5 ether. So you're gonna do this, or were they doing that for you? I don't remember. Do probably want to have Temporal Helix at some point. In order to do that, we need better spending power. So let's get Sifter's Pearl and charge. To discard, spend 7 ether, power 3. Any player gains a Tainted Jade and places it in their hand and advance the Tainted Jade track. Okay. Not good, and we don't have that much spending, though. Hold on. I had 2 of those. Well, I can destroy one of them and have to play the other one. If I play both of these, I can destroy this. That's probably better. Because if I don't discard that, then we'll gain 1 and advance this anyway. So we're going to need to be careful. Okay, so 11. So it's going to be Ignite. And then these 4 cards. Although we do have a Sifter's Pearl. So it's actually going to be... If I discard that, then it's 2 there, 3 there, and then these 5. And then these 4 and something else. Which is probably going to be the Immolate. So it doesn't really seem to matter. Alright. Zazos was a discard, or OBS is disconnected. Should be back. Should be back. Go and operate under the assumption that I'm back. Seems to be a brief hiccup, like it always is. How much does this screw you up? I think it doesn't really. Or no, how much does this screw you up? Doesn't really at all. Six ether. I can get the Clouded Sapphire. Except I didn't really want to do that because I wanted to control the next turn as well. Did I charge you back up terribly again? Okay, so we got a Blight Lord go again. Do you have your spell prepped that cares? No. Are you going to have it the turn after next? Yes. So having two Zazoses followed by a Malistar? Well, no, because you're not going to draw it, so it doesn't actually matter. It's on the next round that this will matter. Is it? No, you're going to draw it next. You're going to prep it. Yeah. It needs to be Zazos, Zazos, Malistar, and then we can do Blight Lord and see what happens. Malistar can trigger this during his main phase, so that's good. Anything else for me to do? Unleash twice and a player suffers 2 damage. Is this your thing? Yeah! Except you're charged up, so it doesn't actually do anything. Someone needs to start getting rid of Tainted Jades. You have better spending power now. Ah, shit. I think I just want to leave that there because I can't use this yet. Oh, I have a double turn too. Fuck. Sorry, language. Sorry. That's my one bad word. It's my one bad word. Problem is, we're not going to get you charged up. Okay, so if I don't put this here, I could do this and do something with that. All right. It is a Malistar turn next. And provide you a charge. Which we do need more of. I'll gain that. Wait. Oh, this can go at. Okay, I see. I see. Still have 5 ether left over. Just need better spending power overall. Reduce that damage to 1. Your next turn, you can destroy Tainted Jades, spending all of your ether. Just need more spending power. We need to get to Clouded Sapphires, both players. Power 1. Okay, now there's where it's annoying. Alright, take you out. Okay. Tainted Jades or gems? Okay, well, yeah, it's the end of my turn. Six ether. There we go. It's almost like whenever it's a crystal, I kind of just want to discard it because it's trash. We don't have card destruction in this game. That sucks. We do, however, have 9 ether. So we can get our temporal helix. And hopefully... Honestly, hopefully this is Nemesis next, so that we have Zazos to charge up and get this effect triggered. Okay. It's actually ideal. Alright, what are we going to do here? We're discarding this crystal, because my Leeching Agate can destroy one of these tainted jades. I can't destroy the other one, so I could discard the other one. You have 4 ether. So you could just discard those. And then we have one more instance of this. Let's give it to Gravehold. Gravehold's healthy. Discard 2 cards in hand that each cost 4 more. Or unleash twice and Gravehold suffers 3 damage in 2 turns. Alright, I guess we were going to charge that, weren't we? Oh, then I guess we're not destroying this, are we? We do have 4 there, so it's not bad. 4. So charge that. Use it. You aren't going to be fully charged, so you were smart. But you go off once. You do have 2 things in hand. Discard 2 cards that each cost 4 more, so Malistar absolutely before Blightlord. I mean, that's 2 turns away, so it doesn't matter, but... you have this spell next, so if you go... I want you to go twice and then have Malistar destroy the power, then Blightlord Malistar. Okay. $17, so it's the last 2 together. Yeah, doesn't really matter. To discard, spend 8 ether, power 2, advance the tainted track twice. I feel like this game's a lot about spending power. It's not testing your ability to cast spells, it's testing your ability to spend ether. It's fine, I can get behind that. We can get this charged up. Okay, so that does take my counts off, but that's 2 and then 3. 2 and then 3. And these 2. If I discard it... That was if I discarded it, right? So I'd get these 4 together. Otherwise, if it stays there, it's these 3 together. I think that's a discard for Zazos. For Malistar, it's a crystal, right? Discard a crystal, get a crystal. That's fine. So what is this? We're on a whole new sequence. This is going, whatever I gain is actually gonna go with these, right? 2, 5, yeah. It's gonna go with these unless it gets discarded. And we would like for it to be a spell. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay. Leeching Agate with this 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. You would be able to discard that if you don't discard this. So return that to deck. Malistar's getting ignites. Otherwise does not have a spell. Would have 8 ether, could get that relic, but you would like to have that spell. We don't really have a very exciting relic here. can at least use that for free. Alright, 4 ether. I think it's charge. We've been bad at this. Yeah, charge. I think we should have decent spending power now. Other than the fact I would like a couple more clouded sapphires, maybe. But if the name of the game is to focus on spending power, if the name of the game is to keep this charge so we can control the turn order, we need to like really focus on that. All right, so these 4 are together with this spell. Do that thing. Do that thing. Do this thing. Okay. Vertigra. Any player suffers 3 damage if this minion is 8 or less life. Advance the tainted track. Unfortunately, we don't have any control on what's next, so that's a bit annoying. Was I supposed to use that? Oh, I was supposed to use... Oh, no, you just drew that. No, that's right. Yeah, you drew that. Your next turn, we get rid of this if we can get you to go next, but I don't think we can actually control that. So used to doing this and right-clicking from Slay the Spire. This is not advanced at all, so that's fine. We could maybe let that go off. We want to work on killing you anyway. It's just if both of these go off and it advances 3 times, it's like all of a sudden we go from 1 to 4. And then if you have another turn, it advances 1 more. But if this goes off 3 times, we die. Oh boy. I guess it's not terrible if the tainted track advances 3 times. Like if it advances twice, I mean it's going to advance twice if he goes next, whatever his name is, Blightlord. If Blightlord goes next, it already advances twice. If I hit you once, it advances you once if you're next. It advances you twice if you have 2 Nemesis turns. If there's 2 Nemesis turns, then it's better to not damage you, because then we'll have 4 consecutive turns that we could damage you with. But if we have 4 consecutive player turns and then 2 Nemesis turns, then I'll be upset that we didn't damage you and get rid of you before you would have acted. So it's like half of one, not half of one, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Do we want the heal? It's not going to save us from this. But what am I going to do here? I have an Ignite and 5 Ether. Am I going to buy one of these? Am I going to buy this? We haven't bought many. I guess we bought 3 of these. We want more on Malistar. You have a lot of consecutive spells there, buddy. I think if I buy Ignite, it's fine. Keep you a little bit more alive. Okay. And you have a bajillion spending power. Was the plan to leave that there so you can get rid of it? You do have enough enough ether to do so. Is the plan for you to get this slightly out of order? You can have a turn with 4 spells in hand. Ugh. I guess one of these goes to a closed breach without opening it, though. But you're gonna... like, those 4 spells are just gonna be drawn. I guess if you do discard it, we'll get one of the spells next turn, and then we'll have, yeah, 4 spells the next turn. We're not handling your deck that effectively, I guess. Guess we could discard again. Is that going to fix it? We have 2 spells that time. That's a bit better. Discard that one. Leave that one there. You can get rid of Dread Plinth. But then you won't do anything else. Oh, this is charged up. Yeah, let's see what's going on. I like to do this when it's a stack of 6, but a stack of 5 is just as good. Well, not as good, but it's good enough. Ah, it was Blightlord next. And then 2 Zazoses. Okay. So if I have Malistar take out Dread Plinth, you would have 8 Ether that would charge you up 4. And then if Malistar goes at any point... Well, I guess no, we don't want you to go next, right? Because we want to destroy this. The problem is you have no damage and you have no damage. So it's going to be very tricky. And then your next turn is intended to destroy these 2. Some markers just suck against some nemesis, yeah. That's why you should not just randomize the decks. You should just, you know, consider them wisely. I prefer random, though. Keeps things different. If I sacrifice these charges and I don't know what's happening the next round, I could spend Zazos' Ether to get rid of this power card. We could charge up Malistar twice. Prep a spell to any player's open breach. The only one that's open is this one. And then have you go and take out the minion. You can get an ignite to get a charge in, you know, to help out with the fact that we're not charging you 4 times. But that spell will take care of Verdigra, and these 8 Ether will get rid of Dread Plinth. Others just give you a feel of some nemesis giving a specialized bleep you. So we need Zazos to go next. Between Malistar and Zazos, we'll have the board cleared so we can have a Blightlord turn to see what happens. Someone else, Blightlord, and then Malistar. But it doesn't really matter, though. Well, I just don't want to have, like, 3 consecutive Nemesis turns next round, right? If I can't control the next round, I don't want to have 3 consecutive Nemesis turns. I want to be able to have a chance to maybe respond, even if we don't have any spells prepped. Oh, we need Malistar to go if we're doing this. We need Zazos, we need Malistar, Blightlord, Zazos, Blightlord, or do we do Zazos, Malistar, Blightlord, Blightlord, Zazos? Problem is, if Blightlord puts out too many Tainted Jades on his turn, then he's going to advance the track on his next turn. Because Zazos' next turn was to return Jades to the supply. I think it's... Let's do that. So you're getting rid of that. That ends your turn. Except... Right. shoot. I wasn't getting rid of that with Malistar. So I screwed that up. Well, I can at least charge this. Yeah, so now we're gonna have this terrible effect twice. I screwed it up. I wanted Zazos to fund that. I wanted Malistar to prep, or to focus twice and get a spell. I screwed it up. Allies or players collectively gain 3 Tainted Jades, placing them on top of their decks. Kind of screws everything up. We had the Grateful damage too. Can't put a spell anywhere. Or no! Oh, no! Duh! I can get this prepped and then we have the next turn under control, maybe. And I know that you were 2 charges away, but that's because I screwed you up! Okay. We need to damage you once. So whoever has a turn next, I don't care who it is. Oh my god. I can't play this Tainted Jade. You're at 1. You're at 1. And then there's Needle Maw. You have 3 spells. You are going to need to focus a breach. But this one can go to a closed breach, so we just need to focus 1 breach to prep one of these other 2 spells. So that's fine. You could have a super turn where you do 2, 3, and 3 plus 1. Zazos could take out one of them. You take out the other one. You would draw a spell. Or not the other one. Was it what? 2, 3... 3, 6 is 8. One of those gets a +1, so that's 9. Your next draw gives you a spell that deals 2. Or no, wait, it's look at your hand. Oh, but yeah, shoot. Spend that turn prepping it, then the next turn you cast it. So you need 2 consecutive turns in order to use these spells to you know, work on Needle Maw, but you're not going to take out Needle Maw as the result. You have a spell. As bad as it will be, it has to be the 4 mages and then Blightlord. Which is rather unfortunate. You run the risk of double, or of quadruple turn. We do have this damage I forgot about. one of these is 2. It doesn't really matter who. I forgot that. I guess I forgot that I had the thing. You don't have any other open breach right now. Nope, not that. Still no open breach. That's annoying. I can't play more than one. I could have if I healed Zazos, but trying to keep a mage at a healthier amount so that if there is an effect that says any player suffers 3 damage, there is at least a target. Okay. Actually, doesn't really matter. It doesn't charge Zazos, unfortunately, because it counts as Zazos using it to charge Malistar, but I guess I could just use this to gain a spell. It doesn't have to go to an open breach. Who has convenient time for a spell? I don't know. Oh, but I can't do it. Okay, well, I can't use it anyway. Fine then, be that way. Now the question is, are we going to survive this turn? Well, we have no chance to deal with that, so there goes Malistar. Advance the tainted track twice. We would die, because Zazos would die, so it has to be Gravehold damage. Okay, awesome. Get more damage off that. I don't think this game's going well. I have a big money turn for some reason. I'm gonna do Blight Lord Malistar. Your next turn's a big money turn. It's not enough to get you charged up. You're gonna get a charge off that, but that's it. Unleash twice, Gravehold suffers 4 damage. That's what I was doing. Okay. We just need heals. We need heals. We need to keep Zazos alive. Okay. 4 ether. We've taken no blasting staves. I'm not sure if it's going to be any useful at this point. Any card we gain is going to be like 5 turns away from being seen. Whereas this could be seen immediately. Alright. Discard 2 prep spells that each cost 3 or more, unleash 3 times. Yeah, we also advanced because of this, so actually we need to get rid of Tainted Jades. Oh, we can't get this prepped. Okay. We're not gonna get this. Destroy 2 prep spells that each cost 3 or more. Actually, no, we can get this on your turn. 4 and 5. Yeah, so Zazos going next gets rid of this. So it has to be Zazos next. Or not Zazos, it has to be Malistar next. Then we have to return to Tainted Jade because we are advancing the Tainted track. So Zazos has to go. Blight Lord can go. And destroy another Tainted Jade there. Blight Lord, Zazos. Maybe. We're kind of clutching by our fingernails right now. But, you know, this game is always the game where you're losing until you win. He's down to 17. There is a chance. That said, we're losing these 2 spells. But if that did go off, Zazos would die because it would have been... What would it have been? It would have unleashed 3 times. We can only get 1 more Tainted Jade back there. And when a player would gain a Tainted Jade, that player suffers a damage instead. I mean, like, so, you know, sure, but if this advances anymore, we lose anyway. Because Zazos dies, so. You can get a spell prepped. Yes, absolutely. I guess we got prepped on Zazos. Star. What's the thing? It's a spell. It's fine. Zazos is a spell. If I discard it, we get into another Tainted Gem, which is kind of necessary. Even though this is a Healy spell, but there's a chance you're not going to have a chance to play it anyway. Spend 8 ether or discard 3 cards in hand and gain 3 Tainted Jades and put them in hand. Don't really have a good big money turn here. Well, it doesn't have to happen immediately. A card in hand. So we get rid of this Tainted Gem. Any player gains 2 Tainted Jades and advance the Tainted track. Oh boy. Well, we can't really control the next turn at all. If he goes, we die, so it's just do as much as we can. We can cast this spell though. But if we get 2 turns, we win. Well, if Malistar gets 2 turns, we win. If Zazos gets 2 turns, he can contribute to the fight, I guess. But oh, actually, if I take this damage, we get this prepped, and we can give Malistar 2 turns. Like, if this guy goes off and advances the Tainted Track, Zazos takes 4 damage and dies. So this is how this game ends. We can give another spell to Zazos for no reason. Alright, die! We were losing until we won! Oh boy. If we didn't have Zazos there, it wouldn't have been as nice. Blightlord record 367 to 1648. Although there are a lot of terrible statistics everywhere. Seems like people are bad at this game. Where's the points? Where's the points? Let's see, that's 2 losses for every victory, 2 losses for every victory. About 3 losses for every 2 victories. That's about 3 for 2, maybe. Not really. 1 for 2, 1 for 2, 1 for 2. 1 for 2.5. Jay is a bit better. Slightly. Rageborn is the closest to being 50-50. Wow, Wayward One is very small. Everyone's frightened by him, including myself. As you can tell, I've not played him yet. I'm undefeated against Carapace Queen. That's cool. Right. Well, we got victory, so that will end another successful week of Dolphin's Dive. So be sure to check us out next time. On the 27th. It's not the start of the month. The plan was at one point to move Dolphin's Dive to Friday because I was going to have an evening class that met Tuesday, Thursday, but that class was since canceled, and I've been rescheduled a class, but that class meets in the morning, and so I can still do Dolphin's Dive in the evening. I prefer the Thursday time slot so I can have Friday evening open in case there's some Friday evening shenanigan. Not really too common or often or likely when COVID-19 remains persistent threat, but nonetheless, still like to have my Friday nights open. So we will continue to have Dolphin's Dive on Thursdays. The title card or the offline text still says Friday. I need to remind Chris to update that. But we will be meeting next Thursday and for the next subsequent Thursdays as well. On Saturday is Spirit Island Saturdays with John and me and sometimes some guests. And I want to try to attend those in the future. We'll still do it this week. We'll probably do it next week as well. But depending on how this semester goes in terms of my workload and how much time I spend preparing and grading and stuff, I might have to start going every other week in that. But Spirit Island Saturday is a time where we play Spirit Island on Saturday. And we get to play some fun matches with players who like to bicker and argue and remind each other about how different rules work and all that. Sunday is Tales from the Archive with another Lit Down, and Tuesday is Handelabra Live with John and sometimes Jeremy. The Handelabra products that are developed and are in digital and are really fun to play include Spirits of the Multiverse. Nope. Sentinels of the Multiverse. Bottom of the Ninth, One Deck Dungeon, Aeon's End, and Spirit Island. All of those games are available on Steam, and with the exception of Spirit Island, are also available on iOS and Android devices. They are all digital adaptations of physical games. You can buy those games physically from Greater Than Games, or I don't actually remember what the other ones are. Please forgive me. Don't actually have them close on hand to actually reference. But if John is still here, then he can certainly state what they are. I'm actually bad at remembering. But you can certainly find information on those games on the Handelabra site, including the companies that they came from, and you can buy those physical games. Aeon's End and Spirit Island do have expansions that are not released yet, and I believe One Deck Dungeon has a mini expansion that is either not out or just out or will come out soon. I'm not sure yet, but more details will certainly come forward as the games continue to develop. But until next time, I am Lou Dolphin, and it was fun streaming for you all tonight. Have a good night.